Have you ever had God wake you up at a decidedly ungodly hour? He seems to do that quite often with me, and it's usually because he has something important to tell me. But he doesn't seem to need a burning bush to get my attention. He just uses that tiny bit of dawn breaking through my window to fling my eyes open and get me stumbling myself out of bed because mornings are not my favorite in any way, shape, or form. But when God decides to show up and show off with a slug, you know I had to come tell you all about it. Do you want to be an amazing, present mom and have a real identity of your own, but you struggle with mom guilt and complete overwhelm when you even think about trying to do something just for you? If so, you're in the right place. Hey, I'm Laura, a former teacher and university career counselor turned stay-at-home homeschooling mom of two. Over the years, I've learned a thing or two about how to be the present, engaged mom I've always wanted to be and rediscover my own personal identity at the same time. So, if you're ready to rebuild your identity, rediscover your confidence, and let go of the mom guilt, then get the kiddos settled and grab an earbud because this podcast is for you. If you're wondering who you are after these years at home with your kiddos, or if you're feeling like you're in a mom identity crisis, like you don't know who God created you to be or what you're supposed to be doing in this particular season of life, I want to invite you to jump on a clarity call with me. These clarity calls are just 1 hour, one-on-one video calls where we walk through your past experiences, your personality, your dreams, and help you walk away feeling like you finally have some clarity instead of confusion. Think of it like sitting down to chat with a good friend and having her hold up a mirror to finally let you see who you are and what you need to do next clearly. That's what these calls are for. So if you're ready to start piecing together your mosaic mom life and get some clarity on who you were designed to be and how you were created to function in this world, head over to scatteredwoman.com/clarity. One morning a few weeks ago, God woke me up a little before 6 a.m. And I remember laying there and thinking, good grief, do I really have to get up this early? I am not a morning person by any stretch of the imagination. In my opinion, there should be one 6 o'clock in a day, and AM is not it. But here we were. So I remember laying there in bed and thinking, good grief, do I really have to get up? When I remembered that just the night before, I had been praying right before I went to sleep about some things that are going on in our family, and I just wished that I had time to sit and process through everything with my Bible, with my journal, and just listen to God when the house was quiet. But we had house guests, so the only place I could go was the kitchen table, which is, not super comfy at whatever hour I would have to get up. But I was awake at 6 o'clock, so guess where I ended up? Yeah, right at the kitchen table. Uncomfortable or not. So I did my Bible study, again, just wishing I could do this whole sit down and read and listen thing more regularly. And I kept looking up and looking out the window into our backyard. The window was completely condensed over, so I really couldn't see the yard. But what I could see was this 3-inch long slug crawling across the window. And whenever I watched it, it just barely seemed to be moving. And I was sitting there thinking, goodness, that thing is slow. But then the next time I'd look up, it would be in a completely different place, turned in a completely different direction. And I'm going, how did he get there that fast? This thing moves slow. So I finally just sat there and watched it for a couple of minutes. And that tiny little thing moved a solid foot along the window pane. Big progress for such a painfully slow little guy. So it got me curious, wondering, okay, well, if slugs can move a whole lot farther than I think they can in a short amount of time, how far can a slug travel? Because surely it can't be that far, right? So I went down that fun little rabbit hole and found out that a slug can travel on average 30 to 50 feet per night, which to my mind is just mind boggling. I mean, they're 3 inches long, they are not gigantic. And some of the larger species, like the great gray slug, whatever that is, doesn't that just sound lovely? Can range up to 165 feet per night if the humidity is high. I mean, in Arkansas, the humidity is always sky high. So I'm imagining we probably have those guys here. Have not looked that up yet. But regardless, that is a lot of distance for that pudgy, slithering body to move in just a few hours. And I started to wonder if following God is a lot like that slug. Because sometimes it feels like we're just plodding along, going nowhere, and especially as stay-at-home moms, when life kind of feels like it's on hold and we don't have a lot of extra time to pursue our dreams, or those dreams get eclipsed by just trying to survive day to day, it can definitely feel like we're making no progress at all. But if we spend just a few minutes each day or each week spending time with God, letting Him speak to us, direct us, grow us, by the time our stay at home mom years are done, we will be unrecognizable from where we started. I mean, that slug moved a solid 12 inches, 4 times its body length. Imagine what we can do with just a little slow and steady progress over time. But as I kept reading about slugs, because, I can't just stop researching when I found the answer to my original question, I realized that slow and steady progress really wasn't the only thing we had in common with these slugs. So here's lesson number 2 I learned from that slug. Slugs don't move in straight lines. I guess I should have known that, but I never really thought about it. And neither do we. The blog that I was looking at, called Science Scout, pointed out that slugs don't generally move in straight lines. They said they often exhibit a winding, circuitous path that maximizes their exposure to potential food sources within a defined territory. So they're constantly going in circles. They're never going in a straight path. And I have often talked about how moms' lives, and especially our career trajectories, are rarely linear. We don't have this nice straight story arc that goes from graduating college to getting a job, moving up the corporate ladder, and retiring in that same field or from that same company we started with. Most people nowadays, and especially moms, just don't have that story. Our lives are much more like mosaics than perfectly plotted points on a line graph. And here's the part that I found most interesting. That winding path for the slug isn't pointless. It's how the slug finds everything it needs without ever wandering very far from its safety net. It's got to stay close to its home, close to where there's moisture so it can stay alive. And as stay-at-home moms, we often feel like we're doing that same thing. We're going around the house, to the grocery store, to church, to the playground, back home again. And it can feel like we're just going in circles. But maybe we're not as stuck as we think we are. Maybe God has placed plenty of food sources, quote unquote, within this little patch of the world that He's called us to right now. We are called to be home. And as stay-at-home moms, we're really tethered to home. Our circle of influence is within our home, within our community. So we don't tend to really range very far from home in order to be fed spiritually or emotionally or professionally even. But we can make a circuitous route around our homes, around our neighborhoods or communities if we bring our kids along, scouring for quote unquote food sources. And those food sources for us as stay-at-home moms are things like Bible teaching, time reading the Bible, praying, meeting with friends, learning new skills. Especially with the internet now, we don't even have to leave our homes in order to keep growing in whatever way we want. So, say we wanted to grow emotionally. We wanted to grow in our relationships. Maybe we learn something new online about relationships. Maybe you dive into the personalities or all of these other personality tools that we've been talking about on the podcast. Maybe you just are able to, call, text, video call with whoever you want to connect with. We have the ability to do that now, where in generations past, we didn't. So that's growing emotionally. What if we want to grow mentally or professionally, even? Well, we've got things like online courses, online communities, online college classes, where we can take that intellectual growth or the professional growth to a whole new level without ever having to leave our safe environment to which we are called. And if we want to move and grow spiritually, we have local churches, we have online Bible teachings, we have online Bible college classes, we have podcasts, sermons, YouTube channels fully devoted to just growing spiritually. We have plenty of resources. I mean, I still watch sermons from our pastor in Texas almost every week as I'm getting ready for church here in Arkansas, just for that little extra feeding and inspiration. And that's something that all of us can do. It's available to us right here at home, right in our stay-at-home mom lives. And there was one more fun slug fact that caught my attention that I wanted to make sure I told you about. Science Scout again said that this foraging behavior ensures that the slugs do not wander too far from moisture-rich sources. A slug can only thrive if it stays near that environment that keeps it alive. It has to be wet. If it dries out, it dies. We, as stay-at-home moms, our world can feel really small, but that doesn't mean that we're limited in how much we can grow. We just have to stay near those moisture-rich sources, if you will. So for us, that really means staying connected to God and what He's trying to teach us. And if He wakes you up at 6 a.m. to go watch a slug, now you'll know why. But thankfully, we don't have to go far and wide to meet with God. God has a great track record of meeting women right where they are. In fact, we see this often in Scripture where God shows up to meet with people. But if He's talking to a man, He will often, call them to a mountaintop or call them out into the desert. He'll take them out away from their homes to tell them whatever He needs to tell them. But if He's trying to tell a woman something, He goes to where she is. Let's think about some examples there. So we've got Hagar in the Old Testament. She goes out into the desert, and God goes and finds her right where she is with her son and tells her what He needs to tell her. He goes to where she is. Jesus shows up for the woman at the well. He goes to where she is. She has to be out drawing water for her family, for whoever is with her. And so He goes where she is. He sends angels and people into dreams for women like He does for Mary. Just because we don't range far from our homes doesn't mean we can't learn and grow in who God is creating us to be. He's always willing to just meet us right where we are, right in this moisture-rich environment He's given us here at home. So those are my 3 fun little lessons about slugs. Whoever thought I would be doing a podcast episode about slugs? But here we are. So what I want you to take away from this is that slugs don't move very fast, but they're able to go a long distance. It's slow progress over time. And it's the same thing with us. 2, slugs don't move in straight lines. And neither do we. And that's okay. And then 3rd, we have to stay connected to that moisture-rich source. We have to stay close to the thing that is going to feed us and direct us into whatever we should be doing next. And that's God. So just stay connected. So here's your homework. What I want you to do this week is just watch for how God is speaking to you right where you are. How is God showing up to meet with you right there at home? And then be willing to take some small steps to spend time with Him, to learn, to grow. So what does that look like for you this week? Maybe it means getting up early. I mean, God forbid, but sometimes we know that's how He needs to work. He just needs to get our attention at some ungodly hour in the morning. Or maybe it means just taking the first 20 minutes after the kids go down for a nap or go to quiet time to sit down with your Bible and let God speak to you right there. Or maybe it means consciously praying and processing instead of just zoning out to an audiobook while you're doing the dishes every night. Yeah, definitely preaching to myself on that one. But whatever it looks like for you, choose one thing to try to intentionally spend time growing right where you are this week. And then by the end of this week, I'm betting you'll have made significant progress, just like that slug. So, if you're struggling to come up with that one thing that you should be doing this week, or if you just want to talk through your ideas with someone and get clear on how you're wanting to grow during this time at home, come schedule a clarity call with me. This is what I'm here for. It's at scatteredwoman.com/clarity. We can chat. We can walk through your Mosaic mom life in a really tangible way and then help you decide on that one way to start growing from home this week. Just head over to scatteredwoman.com/clarity to get started. Thanks for taking time to hang out with me today. I hope you'll discover new pieces of your Mosaic mom life each week. If you've got a quick minute between those never-ending snack requests from your kiddos, I'd love for you to leave a quick review over on the Your Mosaic Mom Life page on Apple Podcasts. Those reviews help other moms find the show, discover their unique purpose, and start building a life they'll love too. Well, that's it for now. Be sure to check back next week for another new episode, and I'll be talking with you again soon.